and manifest as reality. So when I say that people have a belief system in gravity, that means that there's an agreement that becomes a construct living in this illusionary reality. And I'm not saying it's not real, because we make it real.
But
so that's what I was pointing to.
The logic of that is invalid, because if you were go into the scientific reasoning that the universe is 13-point-something billion odd years old, the Earth is 4.5 billion years old, and we realistically only have a recorded history or a traceable history of about 10,000 years as Homo sapiens. Life on the planet only has, a traceable history back to microbes of, about 1 billion. So you have a huge portion of the galaxy, of the universe, which requires these laws of gravity, the laws of physics, to apply in order to have been created. And to say that the belief in gravity is something that we've created infers that it requires us to be believed in.
May I answer that?
Go ahead.
Okay, that is assuming that you are talking about us as Homo sapiens. What Tom and I are talking about is us as the all is mind, as the entire universe. What we're talking about is the collective consciousness that created this universe.
Okay.
Okay, and so within the construct, gravitation is a natural phenomenon by which all objects attract one another. We know that. And within this construct, which we as Homo sapiens have voluntarily come down and been a part of, we recognize that there are certain laws that work within this construct, within this framework of this four-dimensional time-space continuum.
Mm-hmm.
And what we recognize is that there's a lot more to this construct than meets the eye. And we recognize that the information that scientists are discovering since 1989, actually clear back to 1950, about the quantum world, really helps us understand that there's a lot of things that the human brain creates as reality that really isn't real. For example, that we believe a table is solid. Well, if we look at it in the microscopic world, we recognize that it's not solid. It's full of space and moving objects, and it's not static. But within our brain, without these other technological advancements, we would have never known that, because we believe what we see. And what we have learned through the biology of belief is that whatever you believe, whatever your perception of your environment, really affects your DNA and how you create your body and how you understand this reality. As you learn more, as you grow more within the construct, you understand more about how this life works and how you can navigate and circumnavigate throughout this construct within this four-dimensional body, time-space continuum. So you can look at it as the human sapiens as what we're talking about, or you can look at it from the point that all is mind. Everything that exists comes from the space of one mind. And that's really what we're discussing here.
Okay. So
I would suggest there's a book called The Holographic Universe. I can't recall the author, Michael somebody, but if you can pick that up, that is really an eye-opener. Don't mean to be ganging up on you at all here. It's just that we're kind of talking about two different things.
So, have you ever seen The Matrix?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what you're saying is there is no spoon.
Right, there's no spoon.
Right. There's a spoon within the construct, okay? But there's also something outside the construct.
Okay.
And in that something, there is no spoon.
Get that book. I think you really enjoy it. All right. So, conscious living.
It's all about understanding who we are as beings. And going through the process, this was my story of how I woke up. And understanding the mind-body-spirit connection, understanding the effective ways to use conscious living, understanding that there's a misuse of consciousness and that people misuse it to create power over others.
Yes.
And how to recognize the signs of being an ego and how to recognize the signs that you are being trapped or misled, and learning how to trust yourself, learning how to understand that the experiential evidence, if you look at that as the only truth, then you're being misled. You have to feel it within your heart. You have to experience it within your soul. And nobody's here to tell you what to believe or what not to believe. Although we just had an example of, yes, this is what we believe. And that gentleman had every right to believe exactly what he believes. And his beliefs have merit within the construct.
Absolutely.
And in the book, we talk about how to use these emotions that we're having, because we could very easily get into an emotional discussion and allow the ego to run rapid with the last conversation. But we can learn to use our emotions as tools to help us understand and circumnavigate events, using tools as a barometer or a gauge to help us recognize truth. And,
are there any risks to living consciously?
Yes. There are. One, your reality becomes something that is not like anything you've ever experienced. So there's not a lot of information out there before you get into the awakening process about what it means to be conscious. What it means is you have to take 100% responsibility for everything that happens to you in your life, everything that you do, everything that you experience, that you recognize that we have come down here to create this wonderful experience and this wonderful experiment, and we bring everything, including our traumas and dramas, into our life. We talk about manifestation and the laws of attraction in living consciously in an ego-driven society, because one of the things that people forget is that they bring all the negative stuff into their reality too.
That's right.
It's not just that you manifest, the new car. You also manifest the car wreck,
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, if you're manifesting things that you don't want to manifest in your life, recognize that you're responsible for it, and that gives you the power to create something different.
Right, and here again, using that contrast, using the drama to not get so freaked out about, but use as a tool to consciously live.
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, you get to, in these processes that we're talking about, you get to find out what your need system is. You get to discover what it is that you really need to live in this life the way that you want to live it powerfully. Or maybe you don't want to live it powerfully. You get to discover that too. You get to discover you're not your past. You are not the culmination of all the experiences that you had. Regardless of what psychology says, that's not who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Those
only
are the experiences you have.
That's only the experiential evidence that you've created. Mm-hmm. You are living in the consequences of your past action, but you are free in this moment to create something completely different from anything you've ever experienced before in your life to date.
Who's most likely to be affected by conscious living?
People who are waking up, people who are living really, they're just fed up with the way things are. These are and I think that really the more people that begin to live consciously, the more people on this planet it affects. And what Greg Braden talks about is that my energy, my waking up, really has affected the people around me, and other people are starting to wake up. So typically as this spreads and the more people wake up, it's going to affect the entire planet.
Are we talking about the 100th monkey story?
I'm not familiar with the 100 monkey story. What's that?
Oh, okay. There's a lot of versions of it, but from what I understand, there was some monkeys on this island, and the scientist put some sweet potatoes on the island, and one monkey discovered that they could take the sweet potato and wash it off in the river, and that learned behavior was affected all the monkeys on the island, and then jumped to another island.
Sure. I mean, we talk about that in quantum physics, that a particle, you can take a piece of, an electron from, I don't know all the details of this at the moment. It's escaping me. But you can take two particles that came from the same molecule, and you can change the DNA in one particle, and it affects the other.
No matter where it is.
Right, and it's because it's not, Einstein said the fastest thing is nothing can go faster than the speed of light. I don't agree with that. I believe the speed of thought is faster than the speed of light. And I believe that everybody has receptors in their brain that allows the speed of thought to affect them. Whether they're open to it or not is up to them. But as one person, that's why when somebody's they come up with this really great idea, they go out, they're going to invent it, and as they're going through the invention process, lo and behold, it's on the market. I mean, we hear about these kinds of things all the time. It's because if you're resonating with the same vibration, these thoughts, beliefs, and ideas are available to you. And that, we can go into a whole nother discussion about that. But really, that's what we're talking about here is as we change our vibration, the vibration of others are also affected. And the more people who start raising the vibration, the more people that start resonating, the more other people will be affected by that.
Who are your typical clients, Karen?